Hi everyone, it's Jack from Jack's English, and today I'm excited to announce that I'm going to be starting a new series. You may have seen on my Instagram that I announced that I want to start a new series based on a British movie, and everyone decided they wanted About Time. Hopefully you're familiar with the movie. I know a lot of my students have watched it many times. So starting today, we're going to look at the movie About Time, and we'll study different vocabulary and expressions and grammar that you can use in your daily life. So let's start today's lesson where we begin our new series. In today's lesson, we're going to learn 3 expressions. So before I teach anything, let's start with the clip and you'll see the 3 expressions in use.
Money would be the obvious thing.
Very mixed blessing. Utterly screwed up your grandfather's life, left him without love or friends. I've never bumped into a genuinely happy rich person.
It would be nice not to have to work.
The first expression today is where the father says, a very mixed blessing.
Very mixed blessing.
Very mixed blessing. This simply means that there are advantages and disadvantages of something. But we usually use this expression when we receive something very positive, like you inherit a house, a car, you get a new job. These are seen as positive things, but they have some disadvantages as well. Let's look at some common examples. Getting that job was a mixed blessing. Now, of course, we can see getting a job must be a good thing, but perhaps in this case, I have to work very long hours in my new job. So yes, there's the advantages, but there's also disadvantages as well. The second example is inheriting the house was a mixed blessing. Again, it's a positive thing, it is a blessing, but it's mixed because there are disadvantages as well. In this case, perhaps I got a house which is great, but it needs a lot of work done on it as well. So today's first expression is a mixed blessing, meaning that there are advantages and disadvantages of something. The next thing I want to look at today is the adverb utterly. The father said, it utterly screwed up your grandfather's life.
Utterly screwed up your grandfather's life.
Now, screw up firstly means ruin. So it utterly ruined your grandfather's life. But I want to look at utterly because it's very common in the British language and it means totally or completely. But most of the time we use utterly in a negative sentence, something with a negative meaning, and it emphasizes or exaggerates the negative meaning. So let's look at an example. You utterly wasted that opportunity. Obviously, this is negative, to waste an opportunity, and utterly, you totally wasted that. The next example is he looked utterly ridiculous. Now again, ridiculous has a negative meaning. In this case, we're talking about his appearance. And utterly exaggerates that, so he looked totally ridiculous, completely ridiculous. So as I said, utterly means totally or completely. We usually use it in the negative meaning, but sometimes you may hear it in the positive ways. For example, utterly wonderful. But as I said, most of the time, this is a typical example. The final thing I want to teach you today is this phrasal verb, bump into. The father said, I've never bumped into a genuinely happy rich person.
I've never bumped into a genuinely happy rich person.
So what does bump into mean? Bump into literally means to contact someone while you're walking. So, you're in a busy street and you get hit on the shoulder. That's bump into someone. But that's not the meaning here. Bump into is usually used meaning to meet someone unexpectedly. Simply to meet someone unexpectedly. So if you imagine you're in a shop, a pub, in the supermarket, and you meet an acquaintance, a friend, a colleague, without expecting, then that is to bump into them. So let's look at some examples. I bumped into an old friend in the market. So you can imagine I'm shopping in the market No intention to meet someone, but then, oh, it's my friend. So we bump into each other. The next one, we seem to bump into each other a lot. Again, imagine you keep bumping into an old friend. You keep meeting them unexpectedly, so you exclaim like this: we seem to bump into each other a lot. So this is a very common phrasal verb, and as I said, it's usually meaning to meet someone unexpectedly. So that's our first lesson, looking at the movie About Time. We learned 3 things today. Number 1 was the mixed blessing, which means that there are advantages and disadvantages from something. Then we learnt the adverb utterly. Utterly means completely or totally. Finally, we learnt the phrasal verb bump into, which means that you meet someone unexpectedly. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I'll be back soon to teach you more about time, grammar and conversation, and I will be doing more Sherlock as well. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll answer as soon as I can. I hope you have a great day and see you soon.